Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Welcome to the daily cricket show, Cricket Happenings. And on this Cricket Happening show, it's the first day's play in the second test match between India and Sri Lanka. It was played at the SSC ground. India once again finishing on a very strong note at the end of the day. After winning the toss and electing to bat at stumps on day one, India were placed in a pretty position at 309, 44 for 3 on day one, with centuries coming for Cheteshwar Pujara notching up his 12th test match century. Ajinkya Rahane also going and making his century, as well as India definitely proved the dominant force on the first day. I'll be talking about that, and then we'll also have a look at some cricket news. Probably, if time permits, we'll go for the Essex versus West Indies game, the tour game. India A had a very nail-biting win when Manish Pandey, the captain, who was known, I would really call him Mr. Consistent with his knock that he played, and he saw to it that India A defeated South Africa A in a tri-series match. But let's first talk about the game between India and Sri Lanka. So India and Sri Lanka, second test venue SSC, Sinhala Sports Club ground in Colombo. And let's see as to what really happened there. So India, it was a good toss to win for India, and the Indian captain Virat Kohli immediately decided to bat first. As decided Shikhar Dhawan, and in fact they went with the same combination. There was speculation as to whether Kuldeep Yadav would be playing, but that was all set aside with India retaining the same combination, the winning combination. Shikhar Dhawan and KL Rahul opened the innings, and we saw Shikhar Dhawan play some very good strokes. KL Rahul was also looking pretty good, and he was, after coming back, making a comeback into the Indian team after that injury, he also looked at absolute ease when the Sri Lankan bowlers Fernando was bowling. Vishwa Fernando was bowling, but definitely one has to say that they were really crippled, Sri Lanka, because already they were crippled with Suranga Lakmal not being there, and with if you look at that, look at the squad there. Really, it doesn't. There was only one pace bowler, and that was Fernando. Just looking at the way things went. Whether that was the right decision on the part of Sri Lanka to have only one pace bowler, really it's open to question, I would say. But nevertheless, Fernando was the bowler, but he was spraying it on both sides of the wicket, and Shikhar Dhawan and KL Rahul were immediately ready to take toll of that. And then finally, the breakthrough came when Shikhar Dhawan was the first wicket to go, when Pereira actually picked up the wicket. Pereira went on to pick up the wicket of Shikhar Dhawan, getting him LBW for 35 with 5 fours and 1 6. After that, Cheteshwar Pujara joined Rahul, and now the partnership once again started. Another partnership which started building after the 56 partnership between the openers, with Cheteshwar Pujara, as usual, playing in that old restrained manner of his. KL Rahul is a strokeful player, as you know, and he was looking pretty good. And while things were doing, while India were doing so well with Pujara and Rahul at the crease, and the score had also reached past the 100 mark, and the score had reached 109. Now disaster struck India. Now this was something which was unexpected, which would probably one would have never expected this. It was Cheteshwar Pujara actually pushing the ball to cover, and KL Rahul haired in for the run, and Cheteshwar Pujara gave a start and then decided to go back, and that left Rahul stranded, with Chandimal and Dikwala combining to get KL Rahul run out. And KL Rahul, I'm also told, this was his 6th consecutive Test 50. He has already equaled the record of Gundappa Vishwanath, the former Indian player, and also I'm told there is also some record that he is really chasing right now. So KL Rahul nevertheless run out 57 with 7 fours, and it was refreshing to see KL Rahul get amongst the runs. Cheteshwar Pujara was then joined in by the Indian captain Virat Kohli, But Virat Kohli could not do much. Virat Kohli left pretty quickly. And this was Rangana Herath who actually forced Virat Kohli to edge a delivery onto Matthews. Matthews taking a brilliant catch, and Kohli was into the pavilion out for 13 with 2 boundaries, and that made the score, the Indian score 133 for 3, and one can definitely say that Sri Lanka were definitely fighting back. They had India at 133 for 3. But after that, I would say Cheteshwar Pujara and Rahane chiseled together a partnership. Rahane putting his head down, and Rahane, what one could see about just talking about both these players who went on to frustrate the Sri Lankans from 133 for 3 when Sri Lanka fought back. Sri Lanka would have had a bit of hope, but those were all absolutely, one could say, squashed with 211 runs, unbeaten. 4th wicket partnership going on between Cheteshwar Pujara and Rahane throughout the day, with Cheteshwar Pujara definitely eschewing the sweep stroke to the spinners, but he was definitely really playing some deft strokes, I would say, but one did not see a lot of sweeps coming in from Pujara. Ajinkya Rahane, on the other hand, decided to use the deep crease. He always used to go deep inside the crease and whip the ball through the onside. But both also, and Rahane, as you know, is a very good driver of the ball, so we could see some nice strokes played by Rahane, played with absolute line. He was also very good in foraying down the pitch to the Sri Lankan spinners and giving them a real thump for boundaries. Pujara, as you know, really builds an innings as that was going on, and suddenly there was nothing. Even though the Sri Lankan spinners, Rangana Herath, could coax some edges, but it definitely was, I would say, it was not within any striking distance, and it was only the only edge that was created by Rangana Herath. That was a big wicket of the Indian captain Virat Kohli. As things went on, and finally India closing on a very commanding position on the first day of the second test match here at 344 for 3. As far as the bowling was concerned, Fernando 17.4 overs, 2 minutes not for 63. One does not know whether that was the right decision because Nuwan Pradeep at the last moment to go out, and that left this Sri Lankan bowling card absolutely crippled, because they already lost Suranga Lakmal. They lost Nuwan Pradeep at the just at the fag end when the play was going to start, and then Vishwa Fernando was drafted in. Vishwa Fernando, I wouldn't say he bowled very well. He sprayed the ball in all directions. Rangana had 24 overs, 3 minutes, 1 for 83. Karunaratne 3 overs, none for 10. Pereira 18 overs, 2 minutes, 1 for 68. Pushpakumara, Malinda Pushpakumara 19.2 overs. He was costly. He got a bit of real beating from both Pujara and Rahane and the batsmen as well. Then the Suraj was none for 31, and that was the match situation. India in an absolutely a commanding position. The pitch is playing very well. There is not much in the pitch going on the first day, and India would probably like to build on the lead and do something that they did in the first innings by raising a huge total and putting the pressure right there on Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka definitely under the pump in this second test match as well, right on day 1. So that is as far as the match summary between India and Sri Lanka is concerned. Now the next thing that I'm going to talk about is we are going to talk about the tour game which was happening between the Essex and England. Well, Kemar Roach yesterday had taken 3 wickets. He went on to take a 5-wicket bag as Essex actually they decided to declare at 185 for 9, but not before Paul Walter showing that real promise of a very good all-rounder, as he bowled well the other day and now he batted well to score 57 runs. In fact, the Essex were in absolute doldrums at one stage when they were reeling at 57 for 6, I suppose, but Walter really showed a lot of promise in scoring a 50. So he definitely is one of the all-rounders who really impressed. After that, we saw that the West Indies. So let's have a look at the card as to see what really happened. So just looking at the card here, trying to see the card as to what really happened. As I said, Kemar Roche went on to take 5 wickets, so that would be very refreshing for him that in his very first game on his comeback he could actually notch up 5 wickets, and that is a great feeling, no doubt about it. And as I said, Walter was the highest scorer, not around 68 with 9 fours and 1 6. They were absolutely reduced. I mean, this was good bowling from the West Indians, I would say. Roche had 5 for 43, 2 for 43 for Cummins, and 1 wicket apiece to Holder and Bishu. West Indies then batted first, second, and the second innings. Walter actually dismissed the Brathwaite very quickly. Kieran Powell fell for 27 with 5 boundaries. The Kyle Hope was out for naught, but Shai Hope, his brother, did a good job of scoring 46 with 9 boundaries, a very strokeful innings at that. And then finally it was Roston Chase nurturing them to a draw with an unbeaten 50 with 8 fours and 1 6, and Blackwood was not on 7, 135 for 4. The match actually, the first match, first 2 game actually ending in a draw here. Cook had none for 72 for 14 for Walter, impressed with his all-round skills. Taylor 2 for 20. So that is as far as this particular game is concerned. Now let me check what other thing I have. I'm trying to see whether I can lay my hands on the India A versus South Africa, which was a very good. Yes, I did lay my hand on that. So I am glad that I would be in a position to actually tell you something about this game, because it was a very close game. We are talking about the South Africa A versus India A game in the tri-series at Pretoria in South Africa. So I'm just going to talk about this particular game, which is what's played, and the Indian captain Manish Pandey, who has been scoring at such a consistent rate that I can definitely call him Mr. Consistent with the way he has been playing. I mean, he has been simply too good for the opposition, I would say. And once again today, he was really on the firing line, I would say, but definitely managed to get the Indians the victory in the final over. The South Africa innings, as it panned out, Davids made 14, Hendricks 1, Smith 4, but Klaasen came up with a good century, 127 of 108 deliveries, 12 fours and 3 sixes. Zondo scored 23, and Pretorius made 17. Mulder in the lower order contributed 66 with 3 fours and 3 sixes. Fangiso 6, Dala 1. And looking at the Indian bowlings, Thakur 8.2 overs, 4 for 35, bowled brilliantly. Siraj 1 for 54. Siddharth Kaul 3 for 41, chipped in very well there. Shankar none for 32. Yuzendra Chahal 1 for 44, and Krunal Pandya 1 for 57. So South Africa with that century coming in from Klaasen and Mulder making 66 reached 266 all out, and India A were given a target of 267 to chase. And Sanju Samson, in fact India definitely did not get going. They were in a very they were really struggling. They were losing wickets at regular intervals. It's only due to Sanju Samson scoring 68 with 5 fours and 2 sixes of 90 deliveries. Shreyas Iyer was out for 9 of 18 with 2 boundaries. Shankar was promoted in the batting order to have a real good hit, but that ploy absolutely crashed as he was gone for naught. Rishabh Pant making 20 of 25, 2 fours, but Manish Pandey was there till in the end to nurse the Indian A team to victory. It was good to see. His contribution was an unbeaten 93 of 85 deliveries with 5 fours and 2 sixes. And Manish Pandey, I have to say, in this particular series, he has been a picture of absolute consistency, and as a captain, he is setting an absolute example there. Huda 13 of 17, 2 fours. Shardul Thakur 10 of 13 with 1 boundary. Yuzendra Chahal 17 of 25 with no boundary. But Krunal Pandya came to the party, as Krunal Pandya did a wonderful job as in the penultimate over 15 runs were taken by Krunal Pandya and Manish Pandey, which really helped matters as Pandya made 25, a quick silver 25 of just 15 deliveries, 3 fours and 1 6. And then, as I said, it was Manish Pandey ensuring that India A would win the match, but this was done with 2 balls to spare. So it was a match which went all the way down to the wire. but Manish Pandey helped India to victory. India 8 victory. Pretorius 9 overs 1 for 39. Dalla 3 for 56. Mulder none for 20. Smith none for 39. 3 for 55 for Shamsi. The spinner, and Fungiso 2 for 58. So that's the situation as far as that particular match is concerned. I'm trying to see whether there is any other news that I could really cover. Unfortunately not. That really sums up everything. But as I said, tomorrow I'll be back with the second day's play match summary between Sri Lanka and India in the second test match at the SSC in Colombo. And as I said, India will be building towards India definitely in the box seat, and definitely seeing that the Sri Lankan bowling is absolutely crippled, with only Fernando actually trying to take the shine of the new ball. I think they are in a very, very precariously placed, in the sense they are in a very tough situation. And I think, and that too against a team like India, with such a weak bowling thing. I mean, they are banging on the spinners, but the spinners, one does not know as to how that things are going to go. But for me, it is a sort of, I mean, I understand that, you know, injuries happen, but I think with only one pace bowler in the Sri Lankan ranks, I think it's not at all good for. I think India are in a much advantageous position than they would have ever imagined. Well, dear fans, subscribers, that really sums up everything as far as today's daily cricket show is concerned. Hope you like the broadcast, and there's more to come on tomorrow's broadcast on Cricket Happenings. Till such time that happens, it's good night.